How's it going, everybody? My name is Mike Dewan here, and we're here at the second episode of the 100-Yard Walk. I'm here with new Hobart football head coach Eric Schreiber Jr. Coach, welcome to Hobart. How are we doing today?
Great, man. It's beautiful weather.
Yeah, not terrible. It's 70 degrees. This is my type of football weather for sure. About a month into the job, you were hired about almost a month to the day. Talk to me about this, how this month has been, again, being on the job, being now the head coach of Hobart football.
Yeah, it's been awesome, man. It's been a blessing. It's been a lot of administrative stuff, getting the staff together, planning our spring and summer practices, getting our off-season workouts, kind of continuing what we had started about a month prior to me taking over. And I've seen a lot of growth in the off-season, the weight room. We've got probably 30 to 40 kids playing a spring sport. The other half doing our off-season lifts. Our incoming freshman class is pretty big, about 38 to 40 of those kids.
Awesome.
So just getting a lot of that stuff kind of squared away. Heading into April now, or March, April.
Definitely. I noticed you guys have been moving a lot of weight. I've been seeing on kind of what you've been reposting on socials and, of course, the Hobart account. How important is this first off season with you as head coach and kind of getting to know these players as well as developing them for hopefully a successful season?
Yeah, I think it's all about relationships. But I think the biggest thing is just implementing that culture that we want to see on the field, in the weight room, in the off season, kids working together. That's a big priority. It was a big priority when I was at Westside,
right?
But it's something that has to be established as early as possible, with as many kids as you can possibly have in the weight room at once. And it's important. It's a big part of our off-season program. It's a big part of trying to take us to the next level.
Right.
Our kids have bought in pretty well.
Definitely. Kind of looking at your previous, again, you're a former head coach at Westside, and I think going into that was a program that, again, has had some history, but they were looking to rebuild, and you did just that in your 2 years there. Now you're head coach here, and this is kind of a program that I think we could say is already built. I think the priorities might be a little bit different, and how does that kind of affect maybe your philosophy, if it does, as a head coach?
Yeah, I don't know if it really it doesn't change the mindset of the philosophy. I think that stuff stays the same. The great part is that I don't have to there's a lot of the behind the scenes stuff as a head football coach in a smaller program like Westside was.
Sure.
That you don't have to necessarily do here. A lot of that, the day-to-day things, the operations of things change pretty drastically. Coming here from Westside, now I think it's more focusing on really the program development of things. It's not, it's a lot of that type of stuff. It's, being able to meet one-on-one with kids throughout the day. It's the weight room, being able to spend a little bit more time there, spend a little bit more time on the field. It's that type of stuff that I think is different than what it was at Westside. But yeah, philosophically, you're right. This isn't a rebuild. This isn't that type of program at all in any stretch. And so just trying to build off of what has been started by Craig Osika and what we can try to maintain and then even improve and take it to the next level.
Definitely. From what I read, I know the Osikas were, again, a big part in kind of this hire. They were advocating for you a lot. And again, this Hobart community has obviously already gotten behind you and are very excited for what's to come up. Can you talk to me about that whole hiring process and how the Hobart community and, of course, the Osikas really helped you in this situation?
Yeah, I think it started a couple years ago. Being at Westside, Craig introduced me to him after a game, and we kind of reconnected after the season. It was a 2020 season. They whooped us 70-0, and shortly after he had reached out, and I, politely declined and just like, hey, this is something that I feel strongly about. I want to try to stay here as long as I can. And another year went by, and we reconnected, and so that kind of unfolded, and coming here was a big part of that process. It wasn't ever promised to me or anything like that. It was something I had to work for, and something that we had to build that mutual trust for. But it was always kind of like a part of the plan that we wanted to try to implement here when Craig was ready to step away, and he was ready to step away kind of a year earlier than what he had wanted to. And,
sure.
His support and from his family and everyone in this community has been absolutely amazing. It's hard to put it into words, man. It was pretty remarkable, the amount of love and support from this community that we've had so far, and what we continue to hope to have going forward.
Definitely. One of the first things I noticed, my first assignment for working for this company was week 1 against Chesterton here, and I was looking at the crowd here, at these bleachers over here, and a lot of it was, again, more older people with probably, if I were to assume, probably not much tied to the current team on the field. But that's how, I mean, there were just so many people here. Given it was the home opener, but I feel like that's kind of how it is for the whole season. I mean, what again, you were here, you were on the sidelines, you know, looking at that, I mean, how cool is that to see, again, just a packed house with people that are just supportive of Hooper football?
Yeah, man, it's like, it's something that I've got to like kind of pinch myself on sometimes. Absolutely amazing. But yeah, I mean, a part of that, like what we want to try to do is reconnect our past with the present as much as we can. And we kind of started to do that through social media a little bit. We started a Rookie Vault like every Friday. We're trying to reconnect with the past. And yeah, just trying to, because a lot of those kids aren't connected with a lot of the, you know, there's some family, there's a lot of family ties. There still are pretty deep ties, but yeah, I mean, the history is so deep and rich that, you know, trying to connect that as much as we can is a priority of ours because, yeah, I mean, you noticed it on that night. I mean, it's like that most of our home games where we get a pretty packed house.
It's so fascinating.
It is. It's amazing. It's something that, like, you want that. You'd rather have it that way than any other way because I've been on the other side of it where it's hard to get people in the games.
Yeah.
And, you know, here having a rabid fan base, it's awesome. It's something that every head coach or aspiring head coach dreams of. So, yeah, I love it.
Definitely preferable. I always like to stop at the 50-yard line, kind of recollect, but you've had quite the journey. Of course, your father, obviously, he's been around the football world as well as you. You know, you're at the young age of, what, 28 now, 29? Yeah, who's counting? You know,
you're right.
So, I mean, talk to me about, I mean, this chapter. Now, I'm not going to say this is the final chapter of your football journey, but this is, have you expected this? I mean, you know, as little as 5 years ago?
No, I think my wife and I, Sierra, we prayed about this for a while. Like, this is something that, you know, and even for me as a young kid, like growing up, like you mentioned, my dad being a coach, it's something that I've always dreamed of. It's something that, like, this genuinely is for me a dream job. It's one of the best jobs in the state. And, you know, and yeah, I mean, it's something that I've always wanted to do. It's been a dream come true, really, the past month, being able to do this at this level in high school football in Indiana. You know, yeah, I mean, it's hard to put it into words, man. It's an amazing job. It's something that I've aspired to be for a long time. To get here at 28, I'm not really counting that. It doesn't matter to me. I think our experiences throughout life kind of make us who we are. And, you know, at that point, I think that matters more than anything else, than age. You know, so I think that's very important to look at. And, you know, and I think my experiences have been pretty good. And I think to get to this point, they have to be, right?
Right. Looking at your experiences, what is one point you could say, if you could point to one point, that you could say, this is what I want to do for the rest of my life? You mentioned you were at Purdue Northwest, you studied poli-sci. Yeah. I don't know how much, you know, looking to do head coaching football was really lingering, but at what point in your life would you say, you know, this is what I want to do?
Yeah, I was actually probably 2006 sectional.
Okay.
Yeah, it was before I even started coaching. It was my dad's. We were at Greensburg, sectional title against Batesville. It was a rival and conference rival, and short. Came up short that game. It was 10-2, best season in school history at that time.
Okay.
16-8 was the final, and I remember I was bawling my eyes out after the game, and I remember all the kids just destroyed after the game, and just that feeling of like wanting to be back, like to be in that moment again. Even as a ball boy, you know, what the heck did I have to feel that way? But I felt really connected, deeply connected to that team, the family atmosphere, the coaches, the managers, the cheerleaders, the whole community, that support.
Right.
That was something I felt at that time that I was like, man, I don't want, you know, I want this again and again and again. And you can only get that after high school through coaching. And so, yeah, that passion, that love for the game, that desire to win at that age, really, I think I was like, yeah, this is something I can see myself doing for the rest of my life.
Awesome. Looking at the team a little bit more this year. Again, you're walking into a pretty solid situation. Yeah. Yes, you lose a little bit of senior talent, but you guys were 7-3 last year. I want to say again, from what I've noticed from this community, there's always room for improvement. And not winning the NCC, that's to see Hanover do what they do in their first year. With much respect to them, but this has been a conference that is typically, again, it's been Hobart's for a little bit.
Right.
What does this team need to change? Anything come the fall? I mean, what needs to be done to maybe get back to a little bit more, get some more hardware for Hobart?
Yeah, I think it's a mentality. I think for us, we've really emphasized discipline and toughness. We think that last season, just things that we can build off of that we, did really well at, and times that we did not and we struggled. But discipline and toughness has to be a priority for our program, for our kids. That brotherhood, the team atmosphere, that has to be a priority. Just continuously building off of those things going into this season. If we want to take this to the next level, if we want to get past Hanover and take that NCC crown, solely ours, we have to be able to be disciplined and tough in every facet of the game, and that's a priority. That's something we're trying to chip away at this offseason.
Definitely. We're in the red zone now. Time for a little red zone rapid fire. You ready?
All right, let's see.
Let's do it, man. I know you were a quarterback back in your day.
Yeah.
Who was the quarterback that growing up you aspired to be like, and who do you like now in today's game?
Yeah, Peyton Manning was my favorite quarterback.
Sheriff.
He was a Sheriff, man. He was a guy that I loved. A guy today that I really do like his game is either Matthew Stafford or Jared Goff. I think both those guys are pretty solid dudes. Brock Purdy, obviously, just because of his youth and being the last dude drafted and having the success he's had. But yeah, that would be those guys.
Bunch of gunslingers. We'll switch it over. What is your favorite Hobart football tradition? I know you guys, of course, the pregame walk coming over the hill. You also have the bell over here, the victory bell. You guys, of course, do the chant as well all my life.
Yeah.
What is one to stick out for you? What you say would be your favorite?
Yeah, I think the walking over the by far the best stadium entrance probably in the country.
It's up there, Enter Sandman.
It's pretty awesome.
Not a terrible song to walk into. I like it.
It is. It's good.
I like it. What is your pregame playlist? If you had an artist to listen to for a pregame, who would you go?
It's interesting. I don't really. I try to stay in a secluded area a little bit before we get on the field. Anywhere between R&B, rap, country. It really doesn't matter. There's not at that point. It's not really about like getting ready for the game mentally. Like you're there. You know what I mean? Like the adrenaline's there. It's just something to kind of set the tone for the night, and it can be anything, whatever's on my playlist that pops up first. That just kind of gets me going.
I dig it. I'm kind of the same way. Yeah. Ideal football weather. Is this it right here? We're already talking about the weather, 70 degrees and overcast. But what's your typical game the coach are playing?
I mean, with the turf, it changes things, right?
That's a good point.
Everybody plays on turf now. I would have loved it to be like grass, muddy, raining. That'd be awesome. But yeah, this type of overcast here at the 70 degrees, and the little light breeze is good too. But really,
what's your favorite region field outside of the Brickyard?
My freshman year I went to Michigan City.
Ames is awesome.
Field is probably my favorite, aside from obviously the Brickyard here. Bricky Bowl is amazing. And then the Boneyard probably Griffith, just because of my youth.
Right.
Kind of growing up in that area.
Go a little bit to your youth. What is your favorite, if you had to choose one, favorite football memory?
Favorite football memory?
I know, it's a loaded question.
Yeah, that's a big one. I think it'd probably go back to that sectional title loss in Greensburg. Probably something down in Greensburg as a young growing up in this game. Or even with Russ Ranke at Griffith, probably going to two-a-days, going to the ice cream machine at the Griffith High School there between practices. Yeah,
for sure. What's left to be said about these upcoming rookies and you?
Yeah, I think we're excited. Obviously, this is a new era of football, and we're really hitting the ground running, implementing new things. And I think this next season, it's all about just improving on the little things, getting better at the little things. Discipline, toughness, like I mentioned before, brotherhood, things that we need to improve on going into this year. We're excited. I think the play on the field will take care of itself.
Definitely.
We're ready to get after it and itching to get on the field.
Let's do it. Hey, that's a touchdown. Hopefully, we're going to see a lot of these here. But I'm Mike Dewan, 100 yards here with Hobart coach Eric Schreiber Jr., Zach Miller behind the camera. But this is Region Sports Network, the only game in town.